12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
City News.
It's midday. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Citi Prime News. We're coming to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in at Accra. My name is Adjuatin Kramadom. Coming up, New Patriotic Party (NPP) defends Matthew Opoku-Prempeh's recent utterances, insisting he's only being truthful.
Only out of some seeming hypocrisy that anybody would say that, because political communication is about comparison. Well, you cannot compare anything to itself or compare anything in a vacuum unless you refer it to something else.
Also coming up, Bank of Ghana disqualifies persons implicated in the banking sector cleanup from holding key positions in regulated financial institutions. Still in the bulletin, West African Examinations Council debunks claims that social studies paper in ongoing basic education certificate examinations leaked.
We did not receive any complaints anywhere about any leakage. If any invigilator decides to take any snapshot and post that out, we cannot consider that as a leakage.
And later, the warning about imminent hunger and malnutrition in Ghana by 2030 sparks calls for mitigating measures. We'll hear from an economist who is advocating for cutting-edge technology in dealing with this potential crisis.
There's a whole school of thought that thinks that foreign or modern agriculture should be stopped. Meanwhile, you want to feed your people. How do you use only indigenous agriculture to feed your people? It won't work.
Stay with us for details of these and more stories coming your way in the next 30 minutes. Remember, the bulletin is live around the globe on citinewsroom.com, on YouTube and on Facebook. Find us on Citi 97.3 FM. Across the country, we are live on a number of affiliates in the Western region. This is Premier 100.5 FM in Takoradi Beach, 105.5 FM in Takoradi. In the Bono region, this is Greener 95.9 in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, tune into Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, you can find us on Akpeni Radio 96.7 in Pando, Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohoi. In the Northern region, this is Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. In Upper East Word 88.3 FM in Zuarungu. In Upper West Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura. And in the Northeast region, this is Eagle FM 94.1. Please stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Grateful you could join us this afternoon. Let's begin in politics. And the New Patriotic Party has jumped to the defense of its running mate, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, for his recent comments against the first president of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. The NPP running mate has come under fire, saying the Akufo-Addo government has outperformed Dr. Nkrumah's government, an assertion that has since not gone down well with many Ghanaians. Now, the CPP has since given Dr. Opoku-Prempeh a 24-hour ultimatum to retract his remarks or face their wrath. Now, speaking to Citi News on the latest development, Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party, Richard Ahiaba, said Dr. Opoku-Prempeh was only being truthful with the achievements of the government.
If you look at political communication, it's about comparison. It's about comparison of records. And so that we've had 4 republics thus far, and then you have a president today who has done unprecedented stuff. And if you compare that to all the other republics, he stands out. And so if the point is made that Akufo-Addo has achieved more or has performed more relative to the other presidents, it will not be to single out Nkrumah. It is relative to all the presidents that have gone past in all the republics, including the heads of state. So it is only for political convenience that anybody will say that that comparison is out of place. And it is only out of some seeming hypocrisy that anybody would say that, because political communication is about comparison. Well, you cannot compare anything to itself or compare anything in a vacuum unless you refer it to something else. So when you measure Akufo-Addo's performance, it must be relative to other presidents that have gone past. So I don't see anything untoward there that he has said, except to say that Akufo-Addo has done more than all the presidents that have gone before, including the former president, the first president of the Republic, before Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
That was the Director of Communications for the governing New Patriotic Party, Richard Ahiagba. Away from that now, the West African Examination Council, WAEC, has refuted allegations that the social studies paper in the ongoing Basic Education Certificate examination, the BEC, leaked. The examination, which began Monday, has already resulted in the arrest of over 10 teachers for engaging in examination malpractice. Now, the teachers are set to be processed for court in the coming days. However, speaking to Citi News on the issue of alleged leakage, the head of public affairs at WAEC, John Kapi, said the council had learned lessons from previous years and implemented effective measures to curb exam leakages.
We did not receive any complaints anywhere about any leakage, but when I spoke with the journalists yesterday, what he said was that they saw a part of the paper that was being taken, the social studies, the objective test, out there before the candidates were told to start work. I explained to him saying that usually the paper is a composite one. Paper 1 and paper 2 are all in the same booklet, and the paper is with the candidate there in the examination hall. So if any unscrupulous invigilator decides to take any snapshot and post that out, we cannot consider that as a leakage, because the questions would have left our custody, and the people who are supposed to safeguard it are the ones who have let it loose, and that is why probably they saw it out there before the candidates were able to commence the paper, or that section of the paper. We believe that whatever measures we put in place to curb cases of leakage have actually worked.
You have the head of public affairs at the West African Examination Council, John Kapi. Now, Labour analyst Seth Abloso has criticized the National Labour Commission's attempt to meet with CLOCSAG and described it as unnecessary. He argued the NLC should instead pressure the government to address CLOCSAG's concerns. Now, CLOCSAG, which began a strike on July 3, 2024, missed 2 meetings with the National Labour Commission. For the Labour analyst, NLC has double standards, and he's stressing that they should rather focus on resolving the issues with CLOCSAG with the government.
It is difficult to appreciate the rationale behind the invitation from the National Labour Commission. The National Labour Commission is seen as playing double standard. Why I say so is that when they have said CAG will not be entertained at the National Labour Commission until they call off their strike, I expect them to say the same thing to CLOCSAG. And therefore, the invitation to CLOCSAG have reached an agreement with the employers. The National Labour Commission is aware of this. If a party fails to honor an agreement, it's incumbent on the National Labour Commission to take steps to direct the other party to comply with the agreement. There's no need to call them to do what? The National Labour Commission knows why the CLOCSAG people are on strike. They must ensure that the matter over which they are on strike is implemented, or the National Labour Commission goes to court to compel the failing party to do as required.
That was Seth Abloso. He is a Labour consultant. Now, the Executive Director of the Africa Centre for Energy Policy, ASEP, Ben Boakye, has raised concerns about the government's handling of the unitization process for 3 oil fields. The government's attempt to unitize the ENI Ghana, Vitor and Springfield oil fields has been met with criticisms from critics who argue that the process is flawed and requires re-evaluation. The government's pursuit of unitization led to a legal challenge at the International Arbitration Tribunal. Now, Ben Boakye, while speaking on the point of view on Channel 1 TV, argued that the government failed to present a robust scientific case to support the unitization of the oil fields.
We didn't necessarily need to push these issues in the public domain because there were issues that, to our understanding, could be resolved by, applying all the technical examinations that were required to be able to resolve the matter and also keep investors confident in Ghana. So when we heard and saw, the actions from the ministry and the AGs and the rest of it, we thought that, there was a need for some intervention above those organs or those agencies, we had to write to the president, and we wrote to the president, at least asking him to take a second look at the opinion of the Ministry of Energy and perhaps seek third-party advice if necessary. Because from where we sat and the technical people we have spoken to, including many Ghanaian engineers who have worked with ExxonMobil, they've worked with Saudi Aramco, they worked with BP, and all of them thought this was laughable and an embarrassing situation for Ghana to go through. So we thought that we could draw the attention of the president to it so that we don't get into the situation that we're in now and avert a possible suit by government. And it was a simple fact that Ghana acted wrongly.
You heard the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, Ben Boache. Now, Ghana can take advantage of its growing population to maximize economic growth. That's according to the Chief Economist at the Policy Initiative for Economic Development, Dr. Daniel Enim. The Ghana Statistical Services 2021 Population and Housing Census Thematic Report on Population Projections estimates that Ghana's population will surpass 50 million by 2050. The report further states that the Greater Accra and Ashanti regions will remain the most populous. Now, speaking to Citi News as the world celebrates Population Day today, Dr. Enim says an increasing population can enhance industrialization and make the economy more viable.
When the industries produce, there should be a demand for it. So when you have a population that is growing, you need to plan and take advantage of the growing population. And that is also to stretch you to increase your existing infrastructure. So you are increasing development, or you are bringing about development to the nation. So to me, I see it as a very positive thing for the managers of this economy to rather take advantage of the growing population and plan accordingly. Look, Accra and Kumasi will be the most populous cities because of its strategic nature. Number one, Accra is the capital. But if we know, people are saying that Accra is more congested, but that is not a fact. If you look at it, it is only the Accra Central, the places that we know, Kameshi and the rest. If you agree with me, from Adenta to Dodowa, there's so much space that could be added. The only thing that we need to do is to expand the road network for people.
Chief Economist at the Policy Initiative for Economic Development, Dr. Daniel Enim. Now, the Dean of the School of Agriculture at the University of Ghana is urging stakeholders in the fishing industry to invent cutting-edge fishing technologies to mitigate the impending threat of fish insecurity. The call follows research conducted by the Dean of the School of Natural Resources at the University of Energy and Natural Resources, UNE, which suggests that many Ghanaians will face hunger and malnutrition by 2030 due to a projected decline in national fish production. According to the Dean of the School of Agriculture at the University of Ghana, Professor Irene Edgeworth, adopting modern technological fishing methods is the only way to avert the looming fish insecurity crisis.
There's a whole school of thought that thinks that foreign or modern agriculture should be stopped. Meanwhile, you want to feed your people. How do you use only indigenous agriculture to feed your people? There's a whole school of thought that we should depend on indigenous. It won't work. Indigenous people are capturing from the sea. Look at their gadgets. They are industrial vessels. We won't invest in industrial vessels and then obey the sustainable rules of using those industrial vessels. And we want to get more tuna. And everything should be natural. We can't. We are billions now. 8 billion in the world. 34 million in Ghana. You cannot continue to depend on indigenous ways of doing things. Indigenous is good. It can be medicinal. It can be healthier. But the new modern ways that can be lab-based, that can be lab plus natural-based, there are all kinds of combinations, biotech, everything.
That was the Dean of the School of Agriculture at the University of Ghana, Professor Irene Edgeworth. Now, the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Jumfo, is calling on the Attorney General to expedite actions on the Ahmed Swale case, which has faced delays over the years. Speaking at the GJA 75th anniversary lecture in Ho, the GJA president emphasized that the association will persist in pressuring state authorities to seek justice for Ahmed Swale. He also called on the government to intensify its collaboration with the GJA in ensuring the safety and security of journalists in the country. His call comes on the back of the recent attack of some 3 journalists, leading to the media blackout on some political figures.
While we celebrate this day, we cannot overlook the recent increase in attacks on journalists. Suffice it to say that attacks on journalists are attacks on media freedom. In 2024 alone, the GJ imposed a media blackout on key state personalities due to attacks on 3 journalists while they were on duty. Let me use this anniversary lecture to call on the government and authority to intensify its collaboration with the GJ in ensuring the safety and security of journalists in Ghana. We also wish to use this platform to appeal to the Attorney General to still expedite action on the Ameswale murder case, a single issue that keeps affecting the position of the media on the World Press Freedom Index. 5 years have passed since the murder of the investigative journalist, yet there appears to be no progress. As an association, we shall continue to put pressure on state authorities to demand justice for Ahmed Swale. I also want to urge anyone with information about those responsible for this murder to help the police investigate this case. The media cannot thrive without the support of the public. As a result, we call for collaboration in this regard as we work to address our developmental challenges.
President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Jumfo. You're still listening to the Citi Prime. You still ahead. Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, accused government of leasing out the W.E.B. Du Bois Center without parliamentary approval. We'll bring you the details shortly. Please stay.
Is your essay ready? Have you already submitted it? In 2024, who will be crowned the new champion? We're getting closer and closer to the deadline for submission. As a JHS student, don't miss out on the opportunity to win a whopping 10,000 Ghana cedis and an entire year of bragging rights for being the very best JHS student in Ghana. Additionally, you get to have your voice and thoughts heard nationwide as you contribute to national discourse. Here's how to join the Literacy Challenge 2024. In not less than 600 words, write about the role of the youth in shaping the future of Ghana. What changes would you like to see, and how can young people contribute to making them happen? Scripts must be in your own handwriting. Script must be endorsed by a parent. Add your full contact details. Deadline Saturday the 13th of July 2024. Submit entries to the front desk of Channel 1 TV in Tesano or 97.3 Citi FM in Adabraka, or send it to PO Box GP 14
normal profits. I mean, this is a total ripoff. I've never seen anything like this. They are going to take possession without contributing a peso. They take possession for 2 years, if you read the agreement. And they have 2 good years to raise the initial $15 million. What shows that 2 years, as they control the place, as they have majority board members, and they say they will allow government to appoint only 2 people in top management. I mean, look, who cannot take over the WEB Du Bois Center?
You have the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okujetua Blakwa. Now, road users who ply the Adidome Japon stretch through Saikope are still calling for the collapsed bridge linking the North Tongue and Central Tongue districts to be fixed immediately. The steel bridge, which collapsed in January, has left many commuters and traders stranded as an alternative route seems longer to them. Now, although the Central Tongue District Assembly says assessments have been conducted and work will begin soon to repair the bridge, work is yet to commence. Assembly member for the Mafidove electoral area, Moses Awukuvi, in a Citi News interview stated that the situation has worsened.
As I speak, the bridge has still not been repaired. That is causing a lot of traffic in the area. Vehicles, motorbikes, and pedestrians traveling from Adidome to Japon have to pass through Adidome Senior High School Road, through Atitete, through Dadome to Titikope, before they can go to Japon and other Bato communities. And this is posing a lot of challenges. The canoes and the people who are working on it are finding it very difficult to even cross with the canoes. And this is causing a whole lot of challenge as far as traveling from Central Tongue to some of the North Tongue communities, especially Japon, Volo, and Dofo. Is concerned. So we are calling on government and other organizations to help maintain the bridge so that traffic can be eased in the area, so that travelers and commuters can find it easy to travel from the Central Tongue to North Tongue, especially Japon and other communities.
That's the Assembly member for the Mafidove electoral area, Moses Awukuvi. Now, a poll conducted by an associate professor of statistics and senior lecturer and researcher at the Kumasi Technical University, Professor Smart Sapon, is projecting a win for Nana Bafo, one of the contestants in the internal MPP primaries in Menchia South. This is contrary to expectations that the biological brother of Dr. Matthew Pokuprempeh, the incumbent MP, has an upper hand in the election. Now, according to the polls, the brother of Napo, Owusu Prempeh, does not appear to be the choice of the delegates. A further asked that Nana J. Bafwewua is the preferred candidate who is expected to win the Menchia South primaries with not less than 70% of delegates vote on Sunday, July 14.
I've heard people saying that perhaps it's because Efriye Prempeh is from Napo's home and that Parliament is not family affair and all those things. I didn't get that feeling from the delegates I spoke to. All they are saying is that they are looking for these criteria in the gentlemen who are aspiring for that position, and they think if they do all those pairings, it settles on lawyer Nana Bafo Ewua, and that is what I think it is. Like I always keep saying, Menchia South is an elitist constituency, and in such constituencies, they look at things beyond tribe, family days, is from there, that even if you are not from amongst the majority group and you exhibit tendencies of unifying the people, tendencies of, properly representing them well, I'm sure in an elitist constituency like Menchia South, those are going to be the issues on the table for discussion. So yes, let's give it to the delegates. I always say the delegates are wise and they know why they will make these confessions and these choices.
Professor Smart Sapon is an associate professor of statistics and senior lecturer and researcher at the Kumasi Technical University. Now, the Electricity Company of Ghana has advised all customers using the Nuri Kamstrop prepayment platforms to purchase enough credit to last for the next 3 days. This is due to a planned maintenance which will affect customers in the Accra East, Accra West and Tema regions of its operational areas from Friday to Sunday. Speaking to Citi News, the external Communications Director Charles Ni Ayiku noted that the maintenance is expected to enhance the platform and improve service delivery.
We are undertaking the maintenance on a Nuri Kamstrap prepayment server. This is to improve services and enhance what we are already doing. So to start from Friday, the 12th of July at 11 p.m. to Sunday, the 14th of July at 11 p.m. So we are encouraging or advising our customers to purchase enough credit that will last for a period. I mean, for some of them, they already have enough, but just to make sure that within that time, whilst we are undertaking the maintenance service on our prepayment server, there wouldn't be any challenge because you will not be able to make any purchase around that time. So if you have enough to cover this period, you should be fine. So for the new contract, when you see it body rating on the meter, you are also able to check from your receipts. Yes, and if you are using the ACG Power app, you can also check the make of your meter on the Power app.
External Communications Director at the Electricity Company of Ghana, Charles Ni Aiku. The minority in Parliament is urging President Akufo-Addo to ensure disciplinary action is taken against 3 senior police officers found culpable in a leaked tape that reviewed plans to remove the IGP from office in a bid to rig the upcoming elections. A report from the ad hoc committee set up to probe the matter reviewed that 3 senior police officers, COP Alex George Mensah, Superintendent George Lisanda Asare and Superintendent Emmanuel Erijidi misconducted themselves, a major offense under the police regulations. Hence, they need to be sanctioned in accordance with the police disciplinary procedure. Now, here's the Deputy Minority Leader Emmanuel Amakofibua urging the President to act on the recommendations of the report with urgency.
Speaker, it is important and it should never happen again that higher level police officers would descend so low somehow to be proud, to be talking the way they talked on the tape, that somehow they can really get into the political arena and use their political connection to be promoted so they can do one political party's bidding. It is important that the President, with this recommendation, invokes the right sections of our Constitution to ensure that disciplinary action be taken against these police officers. It is critical. This must be done. And we pray that the President will take this recommendation very seriously. The Speaker, they made a very important recommendation, and it's very important. And it is not only for President Akufo-Addo and this government. It pertains to other governments that will come. We must, under this circumstance, think about the selection of the IGP. And it is not out of place for us to really review the processes, to allow Parliament to be part of this process.
Deputy Minority Leader Emmanuel Amakofibua. Now, the Bank of Ghana says it has imposed a ban on persons who were directly implicated in the 2017-2019 financial sector cleanup and all previous directors of collapsed banks from holding key positions under the fit and proper person criteria. A notice signed by the Central Bank Secretary Sandra Thompson says the excessive and imprudent risk-taking led to the collapse of banks and other deposit-taking institutions, and so persons who were directly involved in such risky instances should not be allowed to hold any other key positions in banks and other financial institutions. It also reminded regulated financial institutions of their role in ensuring the continuous fitness of the Bank of Ghana under the Banks and Specialized Deposit-Taking Institutions Act 2016, Act 930. Now, the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization has launched the Ghana Girls in ICT Trust to enhance the training of young girls in information, communication and technology ICT. The Minister of Communications, Esla Osuekufo, announced the trust at the conclusion of the 2024 Girls in ICT training for the Greater Accra region on Wednesday. Speaking to the media, Chief Corporate Services and Sustainability Officer of MTN, Ajowi Afi disclosed that MTN Ghana plans to engage with the ministry to explore ways it can offer support.
We've supported the ministry, as I said, since 2021. And we've helped to train about 9,000 of the girls out of the 14,000 that the minister talks about, and about 500 teachers. And this year we are supporting with the training of 1,000 girls and 100 teachers to support the ministry in this program, because it is something that's dear to MTN's heart.
You heard Ajua Riafeshi, the Chief Corporate Services and Sustainability Officer of MTN Ghana. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio in Atabraka, Accra. For more stories, log on to citinewsroom.com. My name is Ajua Tinkramadumna. Thank you for listening. Good afternoon.
Citi News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 973.